today's look, I'm going to start by making my own makeshift bald cap using cling film, toilet roll and latex. And as you see, the way I have applied it, I've just wrapped the cling film around my head, applied latex, applied toilet roll, and then over the top applied more latex. I'm now moving on to my brows, just going to smudge some glue all the way through them and then stick them down. Setting the glue with a Ben Nye translucent powder, and then I will be applying some latex just to the ends of my brow. Once my brows are set, I'm going to move on to one half of my face. I'm taking a flat brush with the red Snazaroo paint and I'm going to start applying that all over one side of my face. I'm then going in with a smaller flat brush using the black Snazaroo paint, and I'm going to start the outline of Spider-Man's eye. That I have my outline, I'm going to apply the red paint to the rest of my face, neck and chest. Now that I fill my face with red, I'm going to be taking the white Snazaroo paint when it focuses, and I'm going to apply that inside my black line. I do apologise for whenever it's not focusing and creating a big white bright forehead, but it's just because of my bald cap and it doesn't happen too often. Now that the white is filled in, I'm going to move on to my black line again, just thickening that up and making it really, really dark. Just going around the eye again and down my neck with the red paint just to really make that bold. On the other half of my face, I'm going to start with the flat brush with black paint on, and I'm going to start carving out Venom's eye shape. I'm going to take the white brush again and I'm going to apply that all over my eye space. Now that the eye is complete, I'm taking my black paint and I'm going to start layering that on my face. To start with, I cut off my black just at the edge of my nose, ready for his mouth, but later on I will move that black line further down. Now moving on to Venom's mouth. I'm going to start by drawing a line from where would be just underneath my ear to the corner of my mouth. And then going to apply a teardrop sort of shape to mimic his teeth. Once I have that top jaw's initial outline, I'm going to move on to the lower jaw down the side of my neck. For this, I am looking at an image just so I know where things go. Now that I have the mouth's initial outline, I'm going to go back in with my black paint and start filling in the gaps. Now moving on to his tongue, I'm going to start off using red and white mixed together. It does take me a few tries to get the correct colour, but that's the whole point, is just trial and error. And I'm just going to start filling in that shape. Now going back in with my black paint on my flat brush, and I'm just going to really sharpen up that edge of the tongue. I'm then taking a smaller brush and I'm just going to start adding details to the top of the tongue. I'm now going in with some white paint to create highlights. Now that I've created the highlight on the tongue, I'm going to move on to the teeth. I'm taking the white Snazaroo paint and I have mixed the tiniest bit of green and red just to give it an off-white sort of colour. I'm just roughly filling these teeth in as I will be going over them later with an outline. Now that the teeth are done, I'm going to move on to the jaw space. I'm going to be taking the black paint again, and I'm just going to fill in the space between the top and bottom jaw. Off camera, I just quickly finished off that black and filled in where the gum or the lip is on Venom. I'm now just quickly making a black edging around the outer teeth. Once I've done the edging, I'm then just buffing out the edges of the black into the red, and then I will later add the detailing. I'm now going to move on to the saliva drips coming from his tongue and his teeth. At first you can't see me on camera, but I do budge up. But basically I'm taking a small thin brush with the white paint on, and I'm flicking it in downwards motions to create a sort of drip effect. With the same brush, I'm just going to add in highlight around his face just to brighten up sections. After viewing my reference image, I have seen that he does have like white veins covering his face, so I go in with my brush just in hectic random motions just to create them lines, and then I'm going to buff it in later so that they're not too harsh. I'm now moving on to the split between the two characters, taking my small brush with some black paint. I'm going to create almost some vein-like drips across onto Spider-Man's side, just really rough. It doesn't have to be too perfect, just to create that seam. I'm now taking a really thin brush and I'm just going to start creating the lines on Spider-Man's mask. Just really rough motions again, just to create them initial lines to create the webbing effect. Then taking the James Charles palette on a small packing brush, I'm just going to add some shadows onto Venom's eyes using some black and some red, because he does have some red markings after viewing my reference photo. I'm then going to take the yellow from the palette and I'm just going to yellow up his teeth. And that is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed and I will see you in my next video.